In 2020, I had 10 questions for atheists.
Yes, you did, Braxton, you 99.9% of all germs-killing, toilet bleach brand name sounding mother flipper. And it was something else. And by something, I of course mean freaking awful. A bunch of dumb questions that were insultingly easy to answer and demonstrated a complete lack of having genuinely engaged with atheism as an idea, even though you called them honest questions. What a shock. Although, what do I expect from someone who ended up on my channel? Nothing. I expect absolutely nothing from you.
And the response was pretty big. I put my reaction to the videos that atheists made in response to it into a playlist on this channel that you can check out. And I still get answers to those questions to this day.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a simple and obvious format. You ask the questions, you get the answers. And I imagine you are fun and easy as a starting point for people getting into this YouTube atheism gig, since there were so many angles to take on how not good your questions were. Everyone gets to have a go and will have something to say. Not exactly a thing to be proud of, dude.
But now, as 2025 is upon us, I've got 5 questions for atheists in 2025.
I am so excited that I could shit my pants. And that would be bad, because I'm not even wearing any. What even is this? Some kind of armored dress? That sounds like a nightmare to clean. God damn.
Given certain events and current debates in the worldview discussion arena.
In the worldview discussion arena? I'm sorry, dude, what's that? Aren't all debates a discussion of worldview? Even if it's not like the one that you use to lead your life, however you see to be correct. An argument about the best Pokemon is still a worldview discussion, just at a way smaller, more specific scale. Also, I don't know why you would even feel the need to have such a discussion. It's obviously Magikarp.
If you're an atheist, I want to know what your answer is to these questions.
Oh, thank God you clarified that. I was going to give you my cat's answers. And 5 progressively more aggressive and angry meows would have made for a very strange video. Although, I know some of you would have enjoyed that, but I could do without all the bleeding.
So let's just jump right in. Question 1. Cameron Bertuzzi over at Capturing Christianity recently caused a lot of controversy by saying he no longer takes atheism seriously.
That was controversial? I mean, I'll be honest, the way you lot engage with the topic, I wouldn't be surprised if none of you take it actually seriously. I mean, you might think you do, but how often you guys will refuse to understand certain points and ideas, whether it be about atheism itself or various scientific principles that atheists are more inclined to understand and accept. I mean, the next time I hear the Big Bang called an explosion, I am liable to explode myself. But hey, maybe you're different. One of the good ones, so to speak. Although considering your previous videos...
The reason why I don't take atheism seriously any longer is because even if we accept the atheist's strongest argument, it still wouldn't prove atheism.
I mean, isn't the atheist's strongest argument likely to be God doesn't fucking real? I'm pretty sure that absolutely would demonstrate atheism, more or less. But other than that, atheism isn't really about direct arguments. Its largest body is counter-arguments. Most of them pretty fucking strong, and taken as a whole, really put a big dent in various God-based worldviews. I mean, atheism, it's atheism, aka without theism. If theism didn't exist, neither would atheists. And if you don't take people seriously because their main job is to explain how wrong you are all the time, then I guess you can just be wrong all the time. Cool, good for you. Also, what exactly is the strongest atheist argument? Because most of the time, when someone says they are refuting it, it's some stupid shit that I've never heard any atheist ever say. So yeah.
We have these really powerful arguments, at least from our perspective, on the theist side, like arguments from fine-tuning.
Lol, straight shit argument for wankers. Good job. Yeah, it is strong from your perspective. Unfortunately, to anyone who has spent their time immersed in counter-apologetics, they know it's been refuted as an argument for God a million freaking times. The simplest being, even if the universe was actually fine-tuned, it doesn't mean any God did it. And especially not that your God definitely did it.
But yes, there are arguments on the other side that are meant to show that it's unlikely God exists, or that God does not exist, like arguments from evil or divine hiddenness arguments.
Those aren't arguments that God does not exist. Those are arguments that your God doesn't exist. Again, they are counter arguments to claims about the G-Man of your God book. And they are really fucking good points about the things that your lot regularly say are the attributes of your guy. You know, because they're fucking stupid.
And so this puts us in an interesting spot. We've got arguments for and against. But as Philip Goff suggested recently, perhaps you have a God of limited power. This would mean you have really powerful arguments from God on the theist side, like the fine-tuning arguments. But then the arguments from evil and divine hiddenness no longer become powerful arguments for atheism.
He's so close to figuring out what those are for. But swing and a miss with his big stupid bonds. Because yeah, a limited God makes more sense than your one, but losing ground on your specific God doesn't magically weaken atheism. It weakens your argument because there's still no evidence that demonstrates God without being better explained by natural phenomena. Good job.
Instead, what they are arguments for a limited God, but not arguments for no God. And so there's no reason to take atheism seriously, someone might decide.
Look at that face. That's the face of a man who's realized what a stupid fucking point that is halfway through saying it. Because even if we have the more limited God, you are still going to be making claims about them. There will still be counter arguments to those claims. Atheism never becomes not viable unless a God actually turns up and makes their existence completely undeniable. Shame he never will. It's almost like he doesn't exist.
So the question is Cameron wrong? And if so, why is he wrong?
He's wrong because he's a moron, and he's a moron because rejecting an idea whilst clearly not understanding it and refusing to even try to comprehend why someone might disagree with your ridiculous claims is something that a moron would do.
Question 2. Some atheist creators seem to think that the recent presidential election was so important that it changes the way they should do things on their channels. Watch.
Well, we aren't going to watch them because it's literally clips of various atheblabs saying they are changing how they do content because election. But to be fair, this happens in most elections, especially in the Americas, because things change and people's priorities along with them. Christ Bobs almost certainly do the exact same thing. I won't be partaking in any particular way because no matter who's president of what, there's always going to be stupid people in the world, and I'm always going to be a dick about it.
Why do you think that this election was so impactful to atheists in this way? What did it reveal about the culture?
I'm sure there are plenty that were affected, and that is completely valid. But some of us think that your country is simply the international equivalent of a reality TV show. So we are kind of unsurprised by literally anything that happens there. Also, stop couching it as atheists. It's people. People are affected by elections. If they didn't have any effect, you wouldn't fucking have them.
Question 3. Many atheists are determinists, meaning that they don't believe in free will, at least not of the sort that many people think of when they hear the term free will. They believe that the past history of the universe is like to a billion trains of dominoes or trillions of chains of dominoes that result in the past history of the cosmos, the formation of your physical body, your past life experiences, your neural structure, and the firings of neurons in your brain that are your choices, but could not have been otherwise.
Close enough, although you are vastly understating the number of actions and reactions that happen in order to result in any given individual. I mean, if we take every chemical reaction in a single person's lifetime, that's probably well beyond any number that makes any sense to even try to accurately quantify. I mean, I lose count at 7 already.
On the other hand, maybe some atheists think that we have what's called libertarian freedom, the notion that whatever you ended up choosing, you really could have done otherwise. So here's my question.
Yep, although I think it's called libertarian free will, but that's just semantics. Anyway, yeah, some atheists think that the universe is deterministic. Some think that free will is a real thing that reals. But I'm sure most will say that they don't know, but that it seems one way or the other. I certainly lean towards, physics and chemistry doing what it do. Free will doesn't appear to be a real thing, but that doesn't mean that the experience of what feels like making absolute choices is any less real, or that just because what will be makes life any less interesting. I mean, for fuck's sake, you literally believe in a God controlling everything and being all-seeing. If he sees what you're going to do and is perfect, you're going to do it. Sounds like determinism with extra steps to me.
If you're a determinist, how do we hold people morally culpable for things they do that could not have been otherwise, given the history of the universe?
It's not really about how, it's about why. If you do not do that, then the species will more than likely die. If you do not have a reaction to those acts that lower your species' chance of survival, then it will not survive. I mean, you can reason to what do the morals be actually all day, but their function is pretty clear. Also, if determinism is true, what the fuck do you think you're going to do to stop me?
And if it is the case that you believe in free will of the libertarian sort, as an atheist, how is that possible without God?
I don't know, that there's some kind of free will field that permeates the universe, like physics or time and all the other junk. Although interesting that you say it like that, as if you realize that the likelihood of free will being real, see what I did there, seems pretty unlikely without basically magic. And again, I think it's really unlikely with your God, at least in any way that makes any sense.
Now, just as a note, there are many determinists who will say they are compatibilists. And what that means is not that libertarian freedom is compatible with determinism. Compatibilists hold that determinism is true. It's just that we can hold people morally culpable in spite of the determinism. That moral culpability is possible, is compatible with determinism. So it doesn't answer the question. I'm asking that question. How, if you're a determinist, how is it that people are morally culpable given that their choices could not have been otherwise? And if you believe in free will, how is that possible without God?
Okay, assuming that your definition is correct, I would again argue that holding people accountable is merely necessary for the continued functioning of human societies, etc. Also, just because everything is ultimately the result of external forces doesn't mean that the complexity of those forces doesn't result in something that gives the near flawless appearance of free will, with so many pushes and shoves against various ideas and actions. Also, as I tell my children, even if they did something and they don't understand why they did it, as children and adults, frankly, are well known to do, it doesn't mean that you aren't responsible for those actions.
Number 4, Richard Dawkins has long been praised by atheists as one of the 4 horsemen of the new atheism.
Okay, so is this going to be one of those, he says X, defend that? Or is it going to be something even more pointless? Because regardless of how anyone feels about any specific atheist, they are individuals. They don't speak for atheism as a whole. No one does. Each person is arguing their own opinion, maybe using other people's ideas, maybe coming up with unique takes or whatever. I don't know, but whatever your point is going to be, I just find it weird whenever a person is brought up as if they are the fucking Pope of atheism, when we don't have one. Ignore the hat.
But recently, he's caused some controversy with some comments about the trans debate. For many atheists, he's right about science when it comes to young earth creationism versus evolution, but he's wrong when it comes to this current cultural debate. Do you personally think he's right or wrong, and why?
First off, what the fuck's that got to do with atheism? My disagreement or otherwise with another individual atheist is entirely irrelevant to whether or not I believe in the God claims. Will God suddenly appear if I disagree with different atheists? Yes. but just not the one you're thinking of. And second, saying it so black and white is not very useful. I don't know everything he said, and you are not giving any examples. I mean, if he said that trans people are, people, well, that's true, and I would agree. If he said that they're all 10 foot tall with the power to move objects with their minds and the ability to shoot trans lasers from their eyes, I'm gonna disagree with that one. What I find more confusing than anything else is the need to call the lives of people who, for the vast majority of them, are simply trying to live in a way that makes them happy/comfortable, a debate. That's just a bit fucking weird.
Now, for this last question, there's a little bit of setup.
Oh Christ, he's gonna set us up, isn't he? I fucking knew it. He said we were just going out for some drinks and then suddenly we're stealing the Statue of Liberty. And now I have to hide it in my basement, which I don't have because fuck digging. He promised that he would keep it quiet until the heat died down. What a goddamn traitor.
Here's a quote from Robin Collins about the fine-tuning of the universe, and I'd like to know what your reaction to it is.
Well, I'll tell you my reaction to using quotes. Ugh, do you fucking have to? I mean, seriously, I have noticed that the use of quotes is so prevalent with apologists. They freaking love a quote. For a group that have a real God that is real, they will endlessly talk about what some random dude said one time. Whether it's something that comes from a person who agrees with them, or it's from someone who doesn't, but they are pretending it does. I have so rarely heard an atheist quote fucking anyone. It's almost like we are focused on the actual point, and you are desperate to bring out surprise witness number 27 for any reason whatsoever.
Suppose we went on a mission to Mars and found a domed structure in which everything was set up just right for life to exist.
And then right in the middle, we find Elon Musk fucking a Cybertruck whilst being the best at Quake, Diablo 4 and Path of Exile at the same time. Would you be surprised? Yes, but only about some of the things. Others, not so much.
The temperature, for example, was set to around 70 degrees Fahrenheit and the humidity was at 50%.
So that would be like 21°-ish. So basically a scorching hot summer day in the UK. That sounds absolutely freaking awful, man. And why is the humidity so low? It's got to be higher than that for the constant rain. Otherwise, we're just going to dry out. I imagine the surface of the planet is going to be less inhospitable than that fucking dome. Christ.
Moreover, there was an oxygen recycling system, an energy gathering system, and a whole system for the production of food. Put simply, the dome structure appeared to be a fully functioning biosphere. What conclusion would we draw from finding this structure? Would we draw the conclusion that it just happened to form by chance?
Oh, wow, I didn't know my eyes could roll back that far. That's what my brain looks like. Very small. Yeah, I know where he's going with this, and it's such a bad analogy, it's hard to know where to start with it. Can you guys please get an original thought that isn't the fucking watchmaker argument for the millionth time? But even worse, because at least that argument is somewhat elegant, even if it is still fucking stupid.
Certainly not. Instead, we would unanimously conclude that it was designed by some intelligent being.
No, because who the fuck wants to live on Mars? I mean, Earth is right there, and seeing as you are giving it the properties of Earth, apparently, it seems like a complete waste of time that only an idiot would want to do. And some of you might be thinking, but sick, what if Earth come uninhabitable? Well, first off, I'm willing to take the risk that you all might die. But second, Earth is still Earth. If you are going to build biodomes, build them here. You don't have to risk fucking up space travel to get over there. And if the plan is to terraform Mars, if you can terraform Mars, you can definitely terraform Earth. Meaning, again, waste of time. So yeah, intelligent is a bit of a fucking stretch, mate.
Why would we draw this conclusion? Because an intelligent designer appears to be the only plausible explanation for the existence of the structure.
No, we draw that conclusion because we know what those things are and what they do. You know why we know that? Because we make shit like that. You know what we don't make? Fucking planets and universes and all that shit. This is why this is such a bad analogy, because you are trying to call things that we have never seen a person make created because people create these entirely different things. I told you that it's fucking stupid.
That is the only alternative explanation we can think of, that the structure was formed by some natural process, seems extremely unlikely.
Unless, of course, we could see a bunch of natural processes that do form those things without some person being involved, and we could work out how it came to be like that. You know, like all the things that people don't make. That is why these analogies always fail, because they are comparing things that just aren't the same as each other. And the fact that you refuse to understand that is exactly why you make so many videos like these, and then even more ones with people making fun of you happen. Maybe there is a god of fucking irony.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the